What is going on, everyone? My name is Jericho, and welcome back to another sponsored video. That's right, I'm legally required to let you know this video was sponsored by EA. They flew me out to Gamescom to get hands-on with Titanfall 2 and Battlefield 1, and if you missed the Battlefield 1 video, you're missing out. Go check it out. But this is Titanfall 2, and I'm super excited that I actually got to get hands-on with this because I'm a huge Respawn Entertainment fanboy. For those of you that don't know, Respawn Entertainment, the game publisher, or the game studio that made Titanfall and Titanfall 2, was originally made up of the same people that made Call of Duty 4. Back when that whole Infinity Ward like issues came out and people left, they formed their own group and they made Titanfall. And if you don't remember, I played the ever-living shit out of that game. A lot. We actually did a race on Titanfall. And the reason was because they are the people that made one of my favorite games ever in Call of Duty 4, and they managed to turn Titanfall into one of the most buttery smooth game engines, period. Okay? It's like undeniable. Whether or not you think the game had a lot of depth, you know, there were a lot of people that said it didn't. It had one of the best FPS game engines on console, period. It even felt really good on PC. So, with that in mind, I was really excited to get a chance to get hands-on Titanfall 2. This game lives up to it. I'm sorry for in advance, like, I don't play a lot of console games anymore, but I was still able to kind of hold my own. The people that we were there with were all FPS players. Obviously, it was like Vicstar and Allier, and even Zed was on my team for a portion of it. It was every bit as smooth and good feeling as the original Titanfall. I'm not going to try and sugarcoat it. One of my least favorite things was getting into a Titan, because I just wanted the game to allow me to do pilot only because it felt so good, but they actually changed up quite a few things about the Titans themselves, so they don't feel like you're running through this, like, it doesn't feel like you're Optimus Prime in his semi-truck form, you know, accelerating at 0.2 miles an hour, and it's easier to take down Titans, and I think that overall they made some good changes. Now, I only got about 4 hours of hands-on play. I have not played the beta because I just got home, and I'm really bummed that I'm not going to have a ton of time for that, but, I mean, what are you going to do, man? So, the maps we played, I can't remember the names of them. I think we played 4 maps in general. They all felt pretty good sized. One of the biggest things that I noticed is there were no AI. I don't know for sure if they're going to add that in for a different game mode, but that was one of my biggest complaints with Titanfall 1 is that I felt like I was a god. I'm slaying all these artificial intelligent people, right? And then I'm like, wow, the AI is really not good in shooting back, and it's like kind of like slaughtering farm animals. It's like, all right, well, we did it for the objective. They kind of fixed that in that they removed it, and I feel like the Titan plays a lot tighter. It feels a lot more balanced. It doesn't feel like once you have a Titan, it's the be-all, end-all. Everybody kind of, I don't know, everybody kind of has a similar feeling in the play group that I had because I was worried. I wanted so badly for Titanfall 1 to be like the game that kicked Call of Duty's ass because, again, big fan of COD 4, you take that team, you put it into another game, especially with the wall running, etc., etc. So let me talk about the feel, because I know you guys don't come to me for the gameplay. The feel of the game, again, buttery smooth like you'd expect. I mean, the grappling hook, I figured out how to use it in like 5 seconds. It was a little bit confusing, then I was like, oh shit, never mind, I got it. You carry momentum, you can hold A to like grapple towards something. It was a nice additional movement mechanism, because while you can wall run and double jump, unfortunately, you do feel a little bit lost when there's a Titan standing in front of you. You're like, well, okay, this is... all right, that's the end of my life. Not so much anymore. You do have different options for escaping. The gameplay is always fast. I thought that one of the weirder things was that the gameplay only felt fast in Titanfall 1 because there were so many bodies around. They weren't even pilots, which are the player-controlled people. It was the AI. This game, you get into the action pretty much immediately, which is great. That's one of my core reasons for liking a game. And Overwatch obviously has that like 30-second or a longer time when you're trying to run down to chase a payload. One of my least favorite parts about it, you know? I'm sitting there literally running to get into the action. Same with Battlefield. I mean, you can spawn into an objective, so it's a lot different. But Titanfall, you can't do that. You just spawn in. I felt like the spawn points were really good. I never really felt like I was without something to do. And that's important. That really is, especially with a game that is so much about movement and agility and your ability to kind of like read the map and position yourself around people. I did try sniping. It was hard. There's now bullet drop and bullet lead. I can't remember. I don't think there was bullet drop or lead in the original, but this game definitely has it. And as a result, it is pretty tough, at least on console, to shoot. I mean, I know I'm bad. So I used the AR and the LMG a lot, the Spitfire, and I can't remember what the AR is. And Both of those felt great. I mean, the guns actually had a little bit of recoil. They didn't feel like cartoony. Does that make sense? It wasn't like I'm shooting Battlefield 1 weapons and it's like, this is what recoil's like. It's like, oh, I can't hold down the trigger from a medium range target on. You know, I've got to actually tap fire, like choose my shots. The fact that you can see the enemy's health when they're getting away honestly makes me feel a little bit better. So when you're shooting an enemy, you can see how much health they have left. So many times I'm shooting at a guy and I see him, like I saw Swifter trying to grapple over a bridge and I'm like, no, where are you going, Swifter? You get your ass back here. I didn't kill him, but it's just like, it creates a little bit extra tension when you're, you know, on the brink of losing a kill just because you suck at aiming like me. And again, like I said, the movement system is every bit as buttery smooth as I want it to be. The real question, and we didn't get to play it, was the single player, as well as like the depth of the game. So I will say that right off the bat, this game was more fun to me than I felt Titanfall 1 was. And I know that sounds weird because I only had 4 hours of gameplay, but it's pretty apparent when you're used to playing games like this for a shorter period of time, you can kind of pick up what's gonna be good and what's not. And I felt like a lot of the jumping and the wall running was a little bit more refined. I felt more in control of myself. And on top of that, the game does look pretty fucking good, right? Like, it does look pretty good. So on top of all of this, you know, on top of all of the ability to move around and really feel like you're able to scale the map and play the game the way you want to play. Look at this kill. Like, we were playing Ring Around the Rosie, baited and outsmarted, by the way. I thought that overall I was surprised. And I don't want to say that. I know that sounds negative, but you have a perception of a game when you're coming in, especially if it's a sequel. I had the same idea with Battlefield 1. I was worried it was going to play like Battlefield 4. I was worried it would be a reskin, just like I was worried this would be a reskin. But it genuinely doesn't feel like that. There are power-ups and stuff, but it doesn't, I don't know, every ability seems like it has a use, whereas back in Titanfall 1, there were definitely like the stim, there were definitely some ones that everybody would choose over the other. The ejections from the Titans, you know, you could go invisible, just frustrating things that didn't really, I felt like didn't really add to the core enjoyment of the game. They added some crazy shit in here now. You can use your grappling hook to fucking get over here, Scorpion style, pull somebody over to you and kick them and kill them. Like, that's the kind of stuff that you're just like, yes, please, thank you. And I mean, it's still Titanfall. So if you liked Titanfall 1, even if you just like the idea of it, right? If you liked the game, you're gonna love this, all right? I can't speak to the other game modes because we really only played the domination type game mode, but you know, there's pilot versus pilot, there's Titan versus Titan. They do have very many different game modes, so I wouldn't worry about depth until we get a few more game modes out there so we can test, because overall, I feel confident that I liked the game a lot, that it feels really good, and it feels like a console shooter should feel, especially made by the awesome team from COD 4, and it doesn't let me down in the places where I really expected it to excel. I also tried to learn how to speak English, but it didn't work out apparently. So that's gonna wrap it up for me, guys. If you guys have any questions, obviously hit me up on Twitter. I gotta get more hands-on on this, like with the beta, just so I can play it, especially if there's gonna be different game modes. I just wanna get a feel for everything else, but my initial impressions are that, holy shit, yes, they kept everything that I liked about Titanfall 1, and from what I was able to see from the one game mode, Amped Hardpoint, they fixed a lot of the things that I was upset with. So I have a lot of high hopes for this. I have a big love for Respawn Entertainment, and I'm pretty sure it shows through. I'm sorry if it doesn't seem biased, but like, they made my favorite fucking game. And this game feels like it has the potential to just really just be buttery smooth. So if you guys are interested, check out my Battlefield 1 video. Again, big thanks to EA for flying me out. I cannot wait for next year's Gamescom. Hopefully they have me out again as well. And hopefully you guys will enjoy, and I'll talk to you all later.